to hear from our Rav Yeshiva, Rabbi Albert Zetten.
Welcome, everybody. And girls, thank you for giving me the honor to be here today on this very special occasion. There's a halacha about writing a Sefer Torah, that if you don't have every single parasha in the Sefer Torah is invalid. You're not allowed to read from that Torah, even if it has the section that you want to read from today. And it's a funny thing. Why? I have what I need to read today. Okay, so what's there at the end of the Torah is missing? Big deal. It's the same letters, it's the same words, let me read it. And the answer is a very profound answer. Because the answer says like this: if there are words missing, then even the words that you have are no longer the same. You can't fully understand the meaning of the Torah without knowing all the words. Because when you know what happens at the end of the Torah, all of a sudden you view what happens in Bereshit very differently. The Torah is a story that's meant to be as a whole. It's meant to be the 5 books together, to understand it together, to know where the story begins, to know where the story ends, and every time you're going to appreciate the story knowing the rest of the story. And to me, that's the beauty of what we do here today. The Torah that you now have, starting from today, you now saw the beginning, you saw the end, you saw the middle. You're now able, anytime you learn another word of Torah, you're able to put it in its proper context. Your Sefer Torah is now complete. And that means you now have to begin learning it again and seeing how I re-understand the Torah when I have the full picture of things. That's the beauty of what we're able to do here at Yeshivat Barkai. That's the beauty of what your daughters and granddaughters were able to accomplish. And hopefully they'll walk throughout their lives with the confidence, knowing that they have the knowledge of a Sefer Torah inside of them, and that will guide them constantly in every single action that they do, bringing pride to Am Yisrael, to all of you, and to Hashem. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi. We're now going to say the Hadran Alach. We're going to recite the last 3 Pesukim of Sefer Devarim, with Te'amim, of course, as it is Barkai Yeshiva. And then we're going to say Hadran Alach, which is the prayer upon completing the entire Sefer Torah. As Mora of this class, I wear 2 hats. I wear the teacher hat, and I wear the mommy hat, since my daughter Grace is in this class. And so it's really special for me to have watched them grow in so many ways from, I want to say, Ganon, right? I don't think I had an adult kid. From Ganon, I watched them grow physically, socially, academically, as friends to each other, and religiously. And it's so beautiful to see them get to this milestone right now. Girls, I'm so proud of you. I feel like a mommy to you as well. But if you don't want me to say that, then I'll stop. All right, let's start on our Pesukim. And go. Velo. Kol hakavod, girls. And now I'd like to introduce Maura Doris.
Last speech before we start, I promise. And if anyone could volunteer to video this so that I could show my husband what I said, because we lost last year's speech and it was a travesty. I don't love reading, but I'm going to read it out. First wave feminism, the suffragettes. Second wave, bridging the pay gap, equal opportunity in the workforce, reproductive rights. Third wave, the Me Too movement, take down the patriarchy. Jewish feminism, unclear. As American Jewish women, many of us struggle with how to stake a claim in these Western ideals. We're at a crossroads. We struggle to integrate the values of the ancient manifesto in light of society's progressive and liberal motion. How does our 2,000-year-old Torah still speak to us? How could we reconcile its strong, definitive ideas with the ambivalence and skepticism of today? Our society is one which defines freedom as being without definition, without labels, without categories, without limits, filled with choices, but ironically, still very much stuck in a cycle of self-projection. Our Torah confronts these issues with a complete paradigm shift, providing us freedom through constraints. Its apparent limits do not suppress us, but propel us. We are not buried by its laws, but sprout forth from them. The Torah compels each one of us as individuals to live fully, to commit ourselves, to our families, our livelihoods, and ultimately to Borei Olam. The women in Tanakh represent this concept par excellence. Rivka, in her wisdom, constructed a scenario which allowed Yaakov to acquire his beracha. Her mother-in-law Sarah used her voice as head of the house to expel a negative influence. Yocheved fiercely rebelled against the decree of the almighty Paro and devised a way to ensure the survival of Moshe. Tamar, Esther, Ruth, Miriam, Sipporah, Shifra, Pu'ah. These women worked within their so-called confines and achieved greatness. Their actions instigated redemption, incited salvation, and pushed Am Yisrael forward. This year for our students was one of discovery. We have just begun to unveil the inherent freedom that a Torah life offers us, a freedom that is ours only upon becoming a bat mitzvah. In Judaism, freedom comes with responsibility. These women will now take charge of their own lives. Their choices, actions, and behaviors can now affect change within themselves and in the world that surrounds them. It's fitting that these Benot Mitzvah have completed Hamishah Chumshei Torah at this pivotal time in their lives. They have seen and read every letter of the sacred text from start to finish. Torah is a provider of freedom. It's a monument of the potential perfection of the human being. But what is theory without practice? According to our Tanaim, not much. Lo hamidrash hu ha'ikar ela ha'ma'aseh. The essential thing is not the study, but the act. Girls, this is where we leave you. I, along with the rest of your teachers, have and will continue to impart our knowledge onto you, but as for your lives, the choice is yours. Margaret Thatcher said, if you want something said, ask a man. If you want something done, ask a woman. She says this through the lens of psychology. The less we are told we can do, the more we do. Our shackles are but illusions. You are powerful beyond measure. A fourth wave of feminism is emerging. The generation of today is double backing on their previous claims and are reinstating the so-called antiquated values of yesteryear. They are reclaiming the women's centrality in the home. Women are demanding the right to their reproductive years, the right to focus on family building and nurturing, the right to spend their energies and efforts on the home. Our Torah always and forever will remain the eternal transcendent truth. Women are not the glue of the family, but its very battery. We are the propellers of the human race, and so we shall remain. Today is a celebration not only of these potential mothers, but of you sitting here before us. You are a link in the millennia-old chain of fearless and unapologetic leaders. May your daughters merit to follow in your footsteps. I will end with one of my favorite Pirkei Avot. B'makom she'en anashim leishtadel liyot isha. Girls, you may begin.
Today, we're commemorating the completion of the entire corpus, the Hamishah Chumshei Torah, all of every parasha, every pedic, and every word of our Torah Chaim.
Torah remaining invested in Torah and mitzvot.
Matan Torah Har Sinai was where we first entered into our Bedi with Hashem. As we learned this year in Sefer Devarim, Perek Kaftet, Pasuk Yud Gimel,
ולא ייתכן לבדיכם אנוכי כורת את הברית הזאת ואת העלה הזאת כי את אשר ישנו פה עמנו עומד היום לפני השם אלוהינו ואת אשר איננו פה עמנו היום. Not only did I make this Bedi with the desert generation, but also all future generations, including us standing here today.
As we celebrate the completion of the Torah, it is fitting that we also celebrate our becoming Benot Mitzvah. We feel an immense responsibility imparted upon us as we enter Hillel Israel. We are grateful that we have the Torah to inform our lives from here on out.
Learning Hamasheh from Sheh Torah was no small feat, but the implications are even greater.
We have been handed a torch that is now ours to live out and eventually pass along in our Mesorah.
Because becoming a bar mitzvah is such an important chapter in our lives, we are thankful we have such excellent role models to look at for support and strength.
We looked at each of our imahot and other women in Tanakh and noticed the different ways in which each of them connected to Hashem.
From women like Yael, Ruth, and Miriam, we learn to seize our destinies and not to allow obstacles to stand in the way of our fates. Chana taught us the power and importance of tefillah, self-sacrifice, and true avodah Hashem. Esther HaMalka acted with patience, tact, and tzniut.
Deborah Neviah exemplifies strong female leadership while expressing her gratitude to Hashem for her victory.
Please enjoy this beautiful song honoring those women written by Moira Michelle Sitt.
The impact of the women in Tanakh is where our inspiration begins. We are surrounded by people who embody the essence of Am Yisrael.
Our mothers, grandmothers, aunts, sisters, and teachers taught us to be kind, hospitable, and passionate women. To them, we owe our deepest gratitude, and we hope to continue their legacy by living lives of Torah, Avodah, and Gemilut Chasadim.
As we celebrate our Siyoum of Humash Torah, we know that this is not the end of our journey in the Torah, it's just the beginning.
We look forward to starting from the beginning and learning it in a deeper and meaningful way.
We will look at the chapters in the Torah and ask ourselves how we, as Benot Mitzvah, can apply it to our lives.
We We thank all of you for joining us today in this celebration and for your unending commitment to us.
We look forward to starting our new lives as proud Jewish women who cling to the Torah like the tree of life.
Thank you guys. Okay, the girls are now going to do a quick little mini presentation of the Devarim projects. Then they're going to start Bereshit again with a recitation of the Pesukim of Bereshit, and then we're gonna hang out. Okay. This side.
We learned that Hashem is the creator of our world, and He created a day to rest so that we can reflect and strengthen our connection to Hashem.
We are fascinated by Abraham's total commitment to Hashem, even when Hashem demands the most difficult things. Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim with miracles and split the sea for us in order to show the Egyptians and us that He is the all-powerful God who chose us as His nation. We received the Torah from Hashem on Har Sinai.
We are grateful that Hashem gave us the Torah as our guidebook filled with mitzvot that make us better people.
We learned that having a place to serve Hashem allows us to become close to Him and have Hashem's Shekinah dwell among us. Thank you.
And now with every Siyoum, we never end learning. So we are honored to have their first and second grade teachers here to read with Ta'amim the first few Pesukim of Sefer Bereshit to show that the cycle continues and the learning continues. Please welcome Mora Meital and Mora Sharon Dweck.
Last address from Mora Sharon S's middle school principal, and then we're going to have a little brunch.
So the 6th grade girls, wow, what an accomplishment. I'm sure you hear that from a lot of people. I want to try and put it into perspective for you. You started learning Humash in February of 1st grade. Every day for the last 5.5 years you learned Humash, reading every pasuk of every sefer in sequential order. I did the math. That comes out to about 44,500 minutes of learning Humash, or about 742 hours. There's a book written by Malcolm Gladwell called The Outliers. In it he writes that the secret behind the success of the people in their field is the amount of time they put into their skill to internalize it. And the magic number is 10,000 hours. So if you want to be the best minds in dance, basketball, or whatever hobby you have, you need at least 10,000 hours of practice. You are 742 hours into internalizing your Torah. And I say yours because that is exactly what happens. When you learn enough and dig deep into the words of the Torah, they become part of who you are. In Tehillim Perek Aleph it is written, Rashi explained at the start it is Hashem's Torah, but ultimately it is called by your name because through studying the Torah, you acquire ownership of it. 742 hours is no easy feat. You're on the path. Continue making Torah learning a part of your daily life. Complete the Sefarim, go back and start again. Internalize it. And God willing, you will get to celebrate 10,000 hours of Torah learning and become an outlier. Congratulations.
So now Rabbi Seton will be distributing a special gift sponsored by the PTA. Thank you, PTA. Of a Tanakh for them to continue to learn forever and ever.